Just so you know, the reason that I always come in so awkwardly is because I'm actually on the back of the desk, and under the desk is the steamer trunk where I keep my doll clothes. And I don't know why the neighbors are banging things and yelling. But it's a nice day, so the windows are open, so we can hear them go out and do that kind of thing on nice days. Anyway, so there's a steamer trunk right here. I mean, if you ever notice me taking stuff and putting it under, that's because I'm not dropping it on the floor, I'm putting it on the steamer chest. But it is aligned so that where I normally sit, which is where the camera is, there's plenty of room for my legs. On this side, there's really not. And I know I could move the trunk each time, but that would make it harder to put things from here down there, and also I don't think about it. Anyway, hi, welcome to this week's video. It's about an hour and a half earlier than I usually do my videos, so the light in here I think might be a little dimmer. It's also hazy and overcast because we've been between great bouts of rainstorms that don't quite hit our neighborhood but have been hitting around Nashville pretty badly. And you might be guessing I don't have a lot of doll stuff to talk about. I mean, I do, but I don't, which, you know how it is. I did go to a thrift store today. I had the random toy table, bag full of dolls, put it back. Went to the cloth, armload of cloth, put it back. Stack of books, put them back. Pile of socks, put them back. Walked out, bought nothing. I went to Big Lots. I was looking for a specific thing. They didn't have, well, two specific things, and they didn't have either. I didn't think they would, and they didn't. So then I did my normal shopping, and then I put things away, and I've come home and I've had lunch, and I'm making my video now instead of waiting until after my husband calls and talking. It usually gets so late that I think if I don't make my video now, I'm going to make it when the kid's home, and that's going to be noisy. So, what have I done with dolls since last week? One thing I've done is I made the list. Over on Tumblr, and I don't talk about my Tumblr blog much because it is dolls, but it's also like politics and social issues, and I know some people are just here for the dolls. You don't want to know that about me, so I'm not directing you there. I'm not suggesting you go there. We're dolls here. Okay, so a little bit of snide social commentary and political sometimes, but I try to keep it low-key. So there are a lot of people on Tumblr who are pro-recast. And one of the pro-recast, I think it's called like BJ Recast Positive blogs, made a list of like, I think it's over 700 blogs of people who are known to be anti-recast, or as we prefer to say, pro-artist. Of course, the recast people don't call us pro-artists, they call us anti-recast. Anyway, made this big long list of blogs on Tumblr to avoid if you are pro-recast, because everyone who is anti-recast is a horrible meanie who will stalk you. And I was surprised to find that I was on that list. I mean, I'm not surprised because I am anti-recast pro-artist. I was surprised that I was even noticed because I mostly do, you know, thrift store Barbies that I paint green after combining them two different dolls together. So I guess I have been enough pro-artist discussions that I've gotten tagged as a horrible anti-recaster, which, as with everyone else on that list as we were discussing it, that's a badge we wear proudly. Anti-recast, pro-artist. So, but again, that's not anything to show you. I told you like a month ago, right at a month ago, just like a month and 2 days ago, I ordered a Mirrow doll that they claimed was in stock. Of course it wasn't. I sent them an email last week. They said, oh, in 10 days, your doll should be ready to ship, and we will send you a shipping notification. So I'm waiting for that. In the meantime, I did sew some for the Mirrow doll. I do have. Well, here's a skirt. I got these macaron print leggings. They're originally from Target, but I got them in on clearance in a closeout store, super cheap, a couple years ago. Girls' leggings didn't fit me, but the whole time I intended to make doll clothes for them, but I didn't want to because, you know, that idea that you might ruin a piece of cloth if you don't make the perfect thing out of it. But I decided, nah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm trying to embrace the philosophy that if you make it and it doesn't work out, you can still cut it apart and make something smaller from it. So this is a 60cm BJD skirt, and then I also made a tank top and leggings, which are on mitraillette here. So, pretty simple stuff. There's no fastenings on the tank top. It just pulls on. All I can see now, I have popped the thread stitching a little bit, so I need to go back and restitch that. It's not a perfect fit. I mean, there's enough stretch to it that it might be able to go on my Hujo Io, who has a huge bust, even though I have sanded it down, which, since she's made out of ABS, I could have sanded it down more, but I didn't want to. That's the Hujo, of course. This is resin. So we have macaron leggings, and a macaron tank top, and a macaron skirt. And of course this just random tulle tutu, which you gotta have, right? So that's some sewing that I did. And last week I told you I'd cut out various leggings and raglan sleeve sweatshirts for 6 scale dolls. Just kind of randomly, some of them to use up cloth that I'd had just a little bit of and to get it out of the way. And so I showed you what I was going to do, and then I've put pictures of them on Instagram. I still haven't taken proper pictures with the good camera, so I will do that eventually. I've been in a sewing mood, not a photographing mood lately, which I'm definitely not in a hybridizing, customizing mood. I'm sure things will snap and I'll get to the point where I just don't want to sew anything at all, but I want to, you know, take the head off of one doll and put it on another doll and arms and legs and feet. But for right now, we're sewing. So one of the things I started with was, this is that cloth from the Tiger Kulissa doll that Cheshire Tiffy sent me. And actually everything I made, I ended up kind of, a lot of them use the same cloth, but a lot of them also are color coordinated enough that I think they could mix and match quite well. Ended up making 5 tops and 5 bottoms. So here's this. I don't normally dress Momoko so kooky, but I still have this thing where I think that it needs to be a younger type doll to wear this kind of shirt, because it's, in my mind, the only people who wear shirts like this are either kids or, you know, old ladies like me. I mean, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have been caught dead wearing this because I was one of those not like you types where I didn't wear jeans and I didn't wear t-shirts, and I actually for a long time didn't wear anything that showed my neck, and I was just, I mean, I'm still pretty uptight, but I was really uptight as a kid. So we have Momoko, 80s print shirt, striped leggings, and then that stripy, this came from, I bought, every year after Halloween I go to the clearance racks and buy t-shirts, and I buy women's t-shirts, and I buy men's t-shirts, and I buy large boys t-shirts, and I buy extra large girls t-shirts, and they fit. So this was the sleeve from a Halloween themed girls t-shirt that the t-shirt fit, but the sleeves didn't. They were too tight for my old woman arms. So I guess I used the other sleeve for something once upon a time, and this is the last sleeve I used for this. And for the sleeves on this. And this green was a t-shirt that my kid had that I had made, printed a decal of the Terraria logo and ironed it on, and I didn't iron it on properly, and it just disintegrated partly in the laundry, and so he couldn't wear it, and I eventually, last week, started cutting it up, the shirt apart, to make doll clothes. And her leggings, I don't know if you can see that they're sparkly. This was a pair of baby pants that I got on clearance in Walmart for $1 a few months ago, because I wanted to splurge on doll cloth. So here's that. And I also used this stripe and this green to make this shirt. I didn't make a whole shirt out of just the stripes. One thing, I thought that might be a little much, and for another thing, because I had so little of it left, I wouldn't have been able to line up the stripes where they meet, the sleeves meet the body, and that would have annoyed me. So we have this, and This is a pink t-shirt that I bought. It had a hole in it and a cute graphic on it, and I made the cute graphic part into a t-shirt for 60cm dolls, and the rest of the shirt I have been gradually using for regular dolls, for 6 scale dolls. So there's that, and then I used some more of that pink, and obviously I hear sirens. I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but there are sirens. Use the green and the stripes, the last large bit of this stripe I had to make this contrast on the bottom of the skirt, and of course more of this pink for that. And this is something that somebody sent me in one of those big boxes of dolls recently. Thank you again. It's great doll print, good scale, of course pastel cloth. So, and then the last thing that I made used another Kulisa print, not this one, but I only had a little bit of it, enough to make the front of the shirt, just barely. So I went ahead and used some scraps of another print to make the sleeves, and another thing for the back, and like a little bit more of the stripes for the top, and some of the pink for the bottom, and left over the last little bits of this ribbing for the cuffs. And because I didn't have quite enough of what I used for the sleeves to make them full length, the arms ended up short, which meant it was great for haiku. So there's this ridiculous mixture of a shirt. Unfortunately, the scrap that I had left of this ice cream print was just such that the back of these sleeves are taller than the front, and the angle, the sweep, the curve is a little bit longer, so I could not cut them out so that the ice cream was on the front. Sorry, I'm still hearing sirens. They might be in the neighborhood. So, that's some sewing I've been doing. I also have been working on the tank dress for Kirby. If you recall, this was my first attempt. It just looked like this. It's kind of big. And my second attempt was done in more of this green, and I put it away and forgot to get it out. I'm not going to go down there and dig into the trunk to get it out now. And then I got to this attempt, which you can see is considerably narrower, so it fits the Kirby body a lot better. I thought I was okay, ready to scan it, trace it, and make a proper pattern of it. The problem is you have the seam on the shoulder, so you have the seam allowance is bulky inside, and then you fold the edges over, and that's more bulk, and this actually stands up pretty far above the doll, and all that bulk was really annoying me. So I redid it. This, I said, my old 1990s craft copy pattern. So this was my original pattern. Last night I messed around with it and changed it to look like this. Just for further amusement. For whatever reason, this bit of cloth, the paper is... Alright, I print a lot of mailing labels. And a lot of times that means I cut it in half and I tape the half of it to the box, and then the other half I will make into a pile to use as scrap paper or pattern paper. But for whatever reason, a few years ago I had drawn kitty faces all over this from a kid. But then it got circulated back into that scrap paper box. So anyway, this is my pattern now. I don't know why I'm suddenly talking so casual. And the goal of it was that the seam would be stuck back in the back and there would be less bulk on the shoulder. I know it is possible to either just do one piece to cut out, but that will take a long piece of cloth, or you can do it side to side and then have just this going back, which is more like Mattel does it. But then you would lose the shaping of this curve, or else you'd have to put a dart in and it would get weird and complicated. So these pieces, and I tried that last night, and this fits great, I think. And the seams in the back are kind of interesting, but not too obtrusive, and it's nice and slim on the shoulder, low profile. But I don't know if I stretched this side too much and this side not enough, but I think I need to work on taking out some of the length up here. So I'm not ready to share this yet. I thought I would be, and I think last week I told you I was almost ready, but I'm not. Sorry. And the other thing I might do is, I've already mentioned that if you cut this off, then you can make a tank top. Of course, you can make it a crop top any length. I might also add a variation, have where to cut for the waist, and then give you a simple half circle skirt or maybe 3/4 circle skirt pieces to make a skater dress. I'm not sure. And we had some people over on Sunday, one of whom is a dolly person. The more or less the goal of this was for her guy to meet my guy and see if they got along together, because they have some of the things in common. So they went off and they talked about game stuff. First we all played board games together, and then they went off and talked about game stuff, and then we came in here and talked about dolls. And she is starting to, well, she's sewing, she sews, and she gave me this really lovely lawn that she said would probably be good for doll clothes, and I agree. So, noisy car. I will eventually make this into doll clothes. Probably, of course, this wider piece will be a skirt for the kind of dresses I regularly make, and then I might make sort of a shirt dress or a slouchy sort of, I have to make a sketch of the kind of dress that I want to make before I can really figure out if it's a good idea or not. I don't know if that makes sense. A lot of times when I make doll clothes, I just jump right in and I'll start with this pattern and improvise around that, and then if it works out, it works out. If not, it's close enough. But this is nice, and I have a fairly limited amount of it, and I want to make at least 2 dresses out of it, so I need to actually plan, which planning is not something I'm good at. And yes, I did not say it was going to be a short video this week, so that means it is a short video. And hopefully I can get this done. Actually, I plan, well, my video camera, well, first I have to copy things from my camera memory onto my hard drive, and then from there I have to load the video into my editing program, and hopefully I can get another iteration of this done to see how my changes work out while all that is happening. And soon I can have it ready to share, maybe. And I also need to take pictures of all these, proper pictures. And I'll probably keep spamming Instagram with pictures of Chip, because that seems to be what I do. Thanks.